Hmm. All right. Hello. Welcome, everyone. Looks like we're all set and all live. Good evening. Welcome back. Welcome back to Dragon Age Inquisition, where, and also Happy St. Patrick's Day. It looks like tonight, we're still doing some more side quests and things. I want to do a lot more for all of the companions and get as many of their quests rolling as possible before we start going back and doing some actual plot related stuff. So at least tonight, we're going to be pretty occupied with side quests and things. I want to finish up Josephine's quest. If you remember the problem with her family being tracked down by assassins due to an old defunct contract, meaning that she needs to reinstate a rival family, and by reinstating the rival family, that rival family can then release the contract on her life and the lives of her family members. So, we're Legion politics in a nutshell, basically. Beyond that, I'm sure we have plenty of other things we can do side quest wise. We probably, thumbnail might indicate, probably going to go and catch up on some things in the Storm Coast, which is based off of those basaltic formations that you find in Ireland, as it so happens. Appropriate for St. Patrick's Day. So,
to register a complaint about the upholstery in the dining hall. I've already told her we cannot replace it with velvet right now. It is a little worn.
well, that's very Josephine.
I'm so sorry.
Or very,
I never
Vivienne.
thought my family's trading status would trap us in an assassin's plot.
This is very Josephine. That's very Vivienne. I would say you're safe here, like reassuringly, but her family's not. I know that's what she's going to come back with. So, yeah, yeah, not your fault.
You couldn't have known it would lead to this House of Repose coming after you.
It still shouldn't have slipped past me. I've tracked down the last...
It was like 300 years old.
If they become gentry, they can annul the contract on my life. We'll require a noble from Val Royeaux to sponsor them, a judge to provide documents, a minister to ratify them.
It's so like you to take the longest course of action, even when your life is at stake.
I assume you already
boy.
know everything about this mess.
Here we
There
go.
is a faster way, Josephine. The original contract on your life is in the vaults of the House of Repose. If my agents infiltrate it and destroy the original, the assassin will have no obligation to chase you.
Liliana, please. I want no more bloodshed over a personal affair.
Don't be so stubborn, Josie. How long will it take you to gather these favors in Val Royeaux?
I have a feeling that if we go with Liliana's thing, now I don't actually know, I don't remember offhand whether this has actual gameplay or story implications, but it seems like an organization like the House of Repose, first of all, I mean, yes, they'll have backup documents, but I assume it's because of the original document that they have the obligation. But at the same time, currently they have no ill will or animosity towards us. This is purely contractual. But if we sneak in and start messing things up for them and tarnishing their reputation, that seems like it might give them an excuse or a legitimate reason to go after the Inquisition. Just from a practical standpoint, we can keep Josephine safe for the time being. That's fine. While dealing with this the long and more proper way, I think.
We can solve this without more deaths on either side.
My people are ready, should you change your mind. I'll post a watch on our ambassador in case the House of Repose visits. I appreciate it, but I still believe elevating the Duparakets will solve this.
Alright, well, let's give it a shot.
First, we need to perform some favors in Val Royeaux. I'd be happy to discuss where we could begin.
Yeah. Do
Any
we
news
talk
on
about that
House of
now, or?
Repose, Inquisitor?
Oh, yeah, here
How
we go.
exactly does one turn farmers into members of the upper classes?
There are procedures for granting honored citizens of the Empire the title of Lord or Lady. Very long procedures. And so much paperwork. I've called in a substantial number of favors just to cut through half of it.
On which note, incidentally, I'm a lord, legally speaking, through I guess less paperwork. It's a much more streamlined process, at least in the United Kingdom, where I don't reside, but where I do own a very very small plot of land. It was a wedding present actually. It was basically it's through a group, an organization called Highland Titles. Um, I'll- at the end of the stream, I'll put a link in the description. Um, because I actually really do love, support, and recommend what they do. Not just for the gimmick, right? Because it's a cool little gimmick, right? Okay? So what they do is basically they sell tiny plots of land, like 1 foot by 1 foot or larger. But I think the largest is like a 5 foot square, like big enough to set up a tent if you want to camp, on historical estates. And British common law states that officially, if you own land on an historical estate, then you can claim the title of lord of that estate. So, in my case, Glencoe, Scotland. Um, what this means effectively is that there are hundreds or thousands of people who get the official legal title of lord through this weird backdoor procedure, and they haven't messed with it. They haven't closed this loophole, for some good reasons. First of all, they did close the loophole that let anyone who owns land on an estate speak before the House of Lords to an unlimited degree. That happened when this company and some other similar ones first started doing their thing. That became a thing, a problem, where just like commoners and even foreigners claimed their right to speak before the House of Lords about ridiculous nonsense. Or about actual political issues, and that loophole was closed quite quickly. But the legal title, that remains. That's still a thing. They still allow that, and the primary reason that these companies will do this is it's not quite the same as the like getting a quick buck out of naming a star kind of stuff, that sort of thing. It's more about land preservation, and in the case of this one, in the case of Highland Titles and the this at least this portion of the estate of Glencoe, it's about wilderness preservation as well. There's a great deal of old Scottish wilderness on this estate, and because it's estate land, it isn't subject to eminent domain. And what they're doing is they're selling off this land to hundreds and thousands of individual square foot purchasers around the world who have legal title to the land, who cannot be coerced to sell. And so if anyone wants to develop the land, whether for public use or private use, they would have to contact each individual owner. And if you had even a single holdout, you couldn't just use something like eminent domain. It's a really neat system for preservation, for environmentalism, really. And it's a great method that I really, really like, especially from a sort of libertarian proprietarian perspective. If you want to preserve land, if you want to preserve wildlife and wilderness, especially in the case of my little bit of land, Scottish wildcats. There's a significant and returning population of Scottish wildcats around there. Which are cute. They're adorable. They look like smaller lynxes, and lynxes are already quite small for big cats. They look like lynxes with still like the big proportionate paw sizes of lynxes, but like the size of a big house cat, like the size of my cat Turbo, more or less. They're great, and there's a major habitat that they're, I believe, protected still. I don't know if they're still endangered. But they live in these little forests, in these old forests. And basically it makes it next to impossible for a developer to buy up any of the land, or for the government to put it in any kind of use or anything like that. And everybody gets a cool little incentive that you have the neat little legal title, and and you're helping to preserve the land, and you're connected to the history of the land and all that cool stuff that goes along with it. So if you do have an interest in that sort of thing, and it makes a great gift as well, by the way, because again, wedding present, that sort of thing. If you if you have a desire to do that sort of thing, look into the different companies, because they all do it a little bit differently. Most of them still do this sort of make it hard to develop kind of scheme. But in any case, look into it, because some of them have different lands, some have different mission statements and different things that the proceeds go to. For the most part, the proceeds just go to I think it's like the property taxes paid in advance to like 5,000 years or something ridiculous. It's absurdly long, just because it's a square foot of land and the property taxes are minuscule. So it's stuff like that. Anyway, I highly recommend. But yeah, that's much easier than the process that they're trying to figure out here of actually giving them titles of nobility that are not merely titles, merely symbolic. Anyway.
Why did the
neat thing.
Duparecates hate the Montiliers so much they set up a permanent assassination watch? A Montilier and a Duparecate fell in love. A young couple, pledged elsewhere, attempted to elope. The whole thing ended so violently, it's a wonder any survived. It's fortunate the Duparecates' descendants hold no grudges.
It's a wonder anyone survived a love affair? Oh my god. Orlais, what is this place? This place is nightmare.
What if the Duparecates refuse to aid you? I've already contacted the Duparecates, Inquisitor. They're ready to help us. It will be a long road, but a lordship is a chance to restore a proud lineage to their heirs. Besides, I've promised them a heavy bag of coin once this is over.
Of course, that's involved.
Are you sure the House of Repose will forget this assassin contract on a farmer's signature? It's perfectly legal. In Valrayo's noble circles, a written word is a bond. Besides, the guild would never risk being so unspeakably crass. These assassins are afraid of being seen as impolite. Breaking one's public oath or bond implies a certain poverty in Orlais. A common merchant may lack the resources or manners to fulfill a debt, but among the guilds, it would be shameful.
Okay.
Let's speak later. Another time.
Alright, so let's, oh wait, no, we do have to talk to her about the next move.
Any news on the House of Repose, Inquisitor?
Figure this out.
You said I'd have to do some favors in Valroyo if we want to make the Duparecates lords. The Countess Dion is our first step. Her lover, a mage from the White Spire, is missing. Bring her news of him and she'll be very amenable to sponsoring the Duparecates as lords.
Okay. Is this just a war table thing, or I'm wondering if I might actually have to like go to Redcliffe and find a mage or something like that. We'll see. We shall see. Also, I greatly hope that you enjoyed that. That anyone enjoyed that that absolute nonsensical essay introduction that I wound up finally recording and editing a bit to upload.
Inquisitor, we were
Eagerly awaiting your presence. Some of us more than others.
Oh no.
I mean, I was. We have work to do.
Of course.
Liliana knows. Anyway, yeah, it's what was I even saying? Oh yeah, the new video that just came out. If you haven't seen it yet, I very highly recommend it. I'll put a link in the description just in case you haven't, because it is spectacular. I have been grading some essays this week, which is in part why I was not here Monday night. Destroy the House of Repose contract. No, this one. It was in part why I wasn't here Monday night, and because I've been grading essays, that means necessarily I've kind of needed a break from grading essays here and there, and so in one case at least, I took a few minutes, and I recorded that spectacular introduction from a paper from a few years ago.
It was interesting to see how much has changed in Halam Shiral, and so little.
It was
Madame Méprise is a fixture. The sun will grow cold before she retires.
from what I recall, and I don't want to like give away anything that will identify anybody because that's embarrassing, unbelievably embarrassing. But it was at USF, and it was for a critical thinking class, and it was the subject. I'm not going to ever put this in writing on the video itself. So if you know, you know. If not, then you'll have to dig through live streams and stuff to find out. But the actual paper was about the concept of justice in Plato's Republic. And from that text, you would never guess that at all. There's no way you would guess what that paper was about. And that's actually part of the problem. That's why I use it as an example story that may give you feelings or not. For my current students about how not to introduce a paper. But like I said, my supposition, because it was on a halfway decent paper, like a B minus, give or take, paper. But that was like the first page of it. And so I have to assume what happened was that the student had almost finished, but they were really coming up to that deadline. Like they had like an hour, 30 minutes left or whatever, and they were already kind of drunk. And so they just like, all right, you know what, I'm going to throw an introduction on that. Or a student called his cousin who already graduated from college, who was also drunk, and was like, hey, can you write an introduction for me? Or something like that. That theory is from a student from when I talked about this last week in class. But that's also a plausible theory. Maybe. Who knows? Because it did not fit stylistically with the rest, or quality-wise with the rest of the paper. Which is why I have to assume there's no way alcohol wasn't involved in the writing of that monstrosity. There's no way. Maybe other drugs, but definitely alcohol. At least. Speaking of, what's this called? Cinnamon maple whiskey sour, something like that. That's Jameson. I just realized I drank my last Guinness the other day. I thought I had saved one for St. Patrick's Day, but I didn't. So whiskey sour it is. So it'll do. It's good. It is good. Alright, making the Duparakets nobility is the key to stopping the assassination plot on Josephine's life. The first step is gaining them a noble sponsor. Countess Dion is willing to help in exchange for news about her lover, Ellerly, a mage who went missing after the Mage-Templar War erupted. Their love affair was hardly secret. I'll see if anyone marked where this missing mage went. Or, Ellerly stood for the Old Circle Order. I'll see if any of the Loyalists gave him shelter. Maybe. Likely, but we'll see. It's been a while, but we can have search parties comb the area where he was last spotted. Now let's let Josephine handle Josephine's things.
Inquisitor?
My dearest Lynette, I was injured on the way back from the Conclave when this insane war interrupted between the Apostates and the Templars. I made it to a decrepit inn just before the gash on my leg turned into a fever. Fortunately, when the Inquisition people found me, they sent a proper healer. I owe them my life, I'm certain. I'm told the Inquisition will deliver this letter to you, which is the first peace of mind I've had since the Conclave. Stay in the capital, my love, until I can come to you. Yours always, Ellerly. Well, that little star bit is still there, but the actual quest is gone, so that's fine. Means we don't have to worry about it anymore. Alright. Alright, so let's check in with Josephine. Oh yeah, Eric says Leliana always knows. Yeah, oh yeah. She knows all. She's the spy master. Of course she knows. Yeah, we have to, yeah, I think check in with Josephine. No, we don't. We just have to go to Val Royale. By the look of things. Yeah. So let's just go to Val Royale. Because we also need to buy that intentionally way too expensive thing. So once again, we'll bring Sarah. We'll bring Blackwall. Bring Vivienne. That'll work. I don't need them. Because again, I don't plan on getting into any fighting here. But who knows? Basically ghosts. They're watching ghosts. And my stream is buffering. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. That's odd. Anyway. Give it a second. Here we go. We're back, it looks like. I don't know if that was just for me or if that was in general, but it looked like there was an issue. Oh my. I'm sure you can hear that. Michael came to visit, but my door's closed. Maybe another time. And then he squeak-squonked. I'm a little dude. Michael is still awake because he's supposed to be. He has a later bedtime than Saoirse does somehow. Mostly because he consistently takes a long nap during the day, whereas she does not. Alright, Sarah. Let's see. Concentrated elixirs do bonus damage with all attacks for a short time. You use a potion. Nah, I don't like that. Alright, the storm. Effects of your elixirs last longer if you activate one immediately after another expires. Nah, I don't like that. Let's do this one so we can get lightning. Flask of lightning. Incredible speed. Concentrated. Make time almost stop around you. Each enemy is damaged. Each enemy damaged while the effect is active. Additional electricity damage. I like that one. Okay, cool. All right, so hop.
They are heroes, you know.
Hopping the hedges like an absolute country barbarian. There's a shop in this bedroom. Don't need. 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 Honestly, I should have sold all of that after, not before. I went and bought the crazy expensive thing. Wait, how do I go up? How do I go up? Do I just use these?
My command says the Warden has taken up with the Inquisition.
And what?
Oh, that's how. That's how. There we go. Got it. Got it. Figured it out.
What is a seeker of truth exactly?
A sort of Templar, I suppose. Why do you ask?
Everyone's talking about the one in the Inquisition. I thought maybe she was a guardsman.
That's cool,
Lady
outfit.
Cassandra is more than that. I've met her.
Right? The way too expensive shop. Let's buy the mystery box.
Purchased? What becomes of Darabon? Purchased? What becomes of Darabon?
I just gave you a ton of money. That's what becomes of Daraboam. It's a nug. Yep, it's a nug. It's a golden nug. Give me a war table mission. Okay. Well, that's absurd. Anyway. Back downstairs we go, huh? Alright, well, let's see about that eventually when we get back. When we get back to Skyhold. Alright, so let's help Josephine out one more time, then we'll go back to Skyhold, do that war table mission, then we'll probably go over to the Storm Coast. Probably, I'm trying to think of, who we might need to bring and what we might need to do over there, but I know there are side quests.
What an unexpected pleasure.
Unexpected, really?
Half the
coin was from my coffers in the last switch
Might
when
there be any
Selene
news
ascended.
from this house?
A wisely played change of allegiance.
Here's a letter from Ellery. He's safe with his family in the Dales.
Oh, my Ellie. Oh, bless you.
Good.
The Dions will sponsor the Duparakets as a family deserving of a noble title, Inquisitor. You have my word.
Nice.
Now please, forgive my hastiness, but I must read Ellie's words. Make her keep you.
I'll see. All right. I think I need to either dye or improve Sarah's outfit. Not that I ever bring Sarah with me, but, you know. Alright. Back to Skyhold, at least for now. For the moment. Lord Seeker Lucius Corin. For months we were all... Never mind. It is another quest that we will eventually do. Personal quest for Cassandra. Finding the other Seekers. The Seekers of Truth. Cool organization of, like, pseudo-Templars. I don't know... I don't remember exactly the lore behind them or what they do. Aside from being, you know, they were involved with this, with the original Inquisition.
What happened here? The House of Repose decided to pay a visit. The guards arrived in time, but I should have guessed the assassins would infiltrate the servants.
Are you sure they didn't hurt you?
They only frightened me.
Hmm.
It was all so sudden. Leliana assigned people to shadow me. They appear to have saved my life. I owe you everything, Sergeant.
Only my duty, Ambassador. I'll talk with the spy master about these murderous louts. She'll find how they got in.
Any news on the House of Repose, Inquisitor?
What's the next favor we need to get these Duparakets a lordship?
We need a judge of the royal court to procure documents acknowledging them as nobility again.
Okay, Judge Old. That's a war table quest. Okay, so we'll do this one. We'll do the Nug thing, whatever that is. The Chant of Light reminded me, hearing the chanter in the next room, reminds me of something I mentioned before, of how delightfully psalmist the Chant of Light is. And so much of the Chant of Light is very reminiscent of the Psalms in Scripture, in real Scripture. And especially the story behind the Chant of Light.
Not asked in a while. How goes the
Oh,
hunt,
this is
assassin?
next too.
We're
This is
close.
soon.
I know it.
If I can help you any further.
Thank you. I appreciate
We'll
it.
be doing that soon as well. But if you recall, the sort of background to the Chant of Light and what Andraste sort of promised the Maker is that the Maker turned away from mankind when mankind turned away from the Maker through the original and the second sin. So the original sin being the worship of lesser spirits, basically worshipping other gods, idolatry, which is the old gods of Tevinter, so to speak. Then the second sin was the Tevinters breaking into the Fade and entering the Golden City, the seat of the Maker, and tainting it, finding it empty, blackened. Between these two things, the Maker turned away from mankind, and so eventually Andraste caught the Maker's eye, basically. Her beauty and piety inspired him to reach out to her. She agreed to... basically, the Maker said that he would turn back to his people and return and give attentiveness to his second children, us, humans. Humans primarily, but also elves. Elves, at least, maybe not dwarves. That gets complicated. Because they kind of borrowed that, to be fair, from Tolkien, I think. In any case, though, turning his attention back to mankind, if you were worshipped throughout the land. If you were once again worshipped. And so the Chant of Light, the purpose of the Chant of Light is something that is a sort of a universal prayer that everyone is meant to sing in worship of the Maker, and it's meant to encompass the world. That's the idea. And I was reminded of this a great deal by this morning's prayer from Liturgy of the Hours, from the Lauds this morning, which is from the Psalms, and the portion of the Psalms that where Israel is begging God to turn back to them, that his wrath upon them may not last forever, that you chose us as your chosen people, that you and that why do you abandon us? Why do you tear down our walls? Why do you allow us to be taken over by by foreigners? Basically, the lament of the exiles. That portion of the Book of Psalms, and it was really reminding me a lot of this sort of connection here. It's the same sort of connection that we see in constantly throughout the Old Testament, and really throughout human history, of God's people turning their backs on him, and eventually that turning our backs on him exposes us to the horrors of the world until we start getting affected by it, and we beg God to return to us when we are the ones who left him. It's this wonderful pattern, terrible pattern, but there's a wonderful element to it, the rededication that we must do here and there, periodically, cyclically. All right. So, the big one. This is the quest from that golden nug. Our researcher is fascinated by the lure fashioned from the golden nug. She believes that her knowledge of the involved species, combined with the elimination of the apex predators, can result in an opportunity to flesh out something bigger. Something that will truly inspire on the field. It is certainly worth investigating. If you wish the lures placed, it will be done. Allies will see the lures properly placed and report. Well, no. Having soldiers place these lures in designated areas is simple enough. Let's just have Liliana do it. Why not? Inquisitor, our people have fleshed out something big and stubborn. You were seeking a mount that spoke of the tenacity of the Inquisition, and this, frankly, I'm not sure what this says, but it's definitely a mount, and it is definitely tenacious. I'm not sure what to say, except that the stables now have a new resident, and to echo the report from our people, that is one big nug. Neat. Let's go. We can go check that out. I think we actually were riding one of the versions of the Nugalope. But I think this unlocks different ones as well. Getting a judge's favor. Inquisitor. Oh, pardon me, I need more coffee. We must have an Orlesian judge sign papers formally requesting we elevate the Duke Paraquets into nobility. I approached Judge Ald, who's requested a party of Inquisition soldiers meet him in the Frostbacks for a hunting expedition. Some sort of rare spider as big as a horse. The judge was telling me lives inside the caves a few days west of Skyhold. He would like an honor guard who knows the mountains to show him the way. Send some scouts and officers to accompany him, and Judge Ald will happily sign the paperwork we require. He's going to get eaten, isn't he? The commander has kindly found some soldiers he can spare to accompany Judge Ald's hunting party. Yeah, he's going to get eaten. He's 100% going to get eaten. Wow, he didn't get eaten. I'm surprised. Okay. Judge Ald has signed the papers we need to present the Duperquets as nobility again. There's only one step left. A royal minister must ratify them. Please come see me when you have a chance. The judge passes on his compliments, by the way. Apparently the hunt was a marvelous bit of sport, and our soldiers acquitted themselves bravely against something called a screaming man-eater. The infirmary reassures me the injured will make a full recovery. Why? Why? Howdy, Andre. Welcome. All right, let's see. What do we got now? Gonna talk to her, catch up on things. Then we'll probably keep going, moving on to another quest or two.
Any news on the House of Repose, Inquisitor?
Yes.
What's the next favor we need to get these Duparacats a lordship?
We must persuade Minister Belize to ratify the papers. She's in charge of these matters of rank. The minister will be at a small fete thrown by the Marquis Wiscott. I'll get you an invitation.
Great. All right. Let's figure this out, shall we? Yeah, I really love this game. This actually, it might have to be my favorite in the series. Just because of its expansive scope and so much going on, so much interesting things going on, and a lot to look at, a lot to analyze, a lot to dive into and live in, way more so than the other two. I really do still like the strategic elements and the deeper roleplay elements from Origins. But it is significantly smaller in scope, especially with respect to characters and such. Characters and storylines and environments and that kind of thing. It's probably my favorite in the series. Probably. That said, because this is our fourth or fifth, I think fifth total stream, each of which is 3 hours of just doing side quests. That is, to be fair, a very significant portion of the game is side quests. The actual main story plot of this game is not nearly that long. It's probably sum total. The game's probably less than 20 hours. The side quests are what bring it up over 60. You can do so few side quests that you don't really... There are whole areas that you don't actually even need to explore at all.
You seem to enjoy
But why would you do
yourself
that?
at the Winter Palace, Liliana. Or was that part of the game?
Perhaps it was both.
Yeah, why would you miss out on a major part of a game like this? The semi-open world exploration. All right. Ambassador Montelier, forgive the late reply, wonderful as it is to hear from you. I have just ridden from trouble in the Dales. The Civil War has made managing my holdings even more difficult. It would be much easier if I had the ear of the Council of Heralds, but alas, fortune has left me poor in that regard. The Inquisitor is always welcome at one of my humble feats. I only regret that it may not be as grand as I would like. Please, dear lady, promise me you will warn her worship that my preoccupation will preclude a richer evening with my guests. With deep regard, Marquis Wiscott. Yes. Fishing for an introduction to the council before you attend the party. Okay, cool. Arrange one. I have the time and place of the Marquis's party. You must find a way to speak with Minister Belize privately about the ratifying the Duke Paracat's return to nobility. It is the last step we need. She holds the success of this entire endeavor in her hands, Josephine. Is this an actual, like, I need to go to it on a map thing? I'm trying to remember this. Go to the Marquis's party. Alright, but where? But where, though? Oh, okay. It's a separate little area. Got it. Okay. Yeah, let's just go. Do it. Okay, we do need to bring people, so let's bring Varric. He's interesting. Let's bring Vivienne. She'll be right at home in a place like this. And Ironbow won't. Cassandra. We can bring Cassandra in a little bit. Good group. Yeah. Right? Yeah. That'll work. Why not? All right. Cinnamon.
Thank you for seeing me in private, Minister Belize.
I chastise you for taking me from the party, Inquisitor, but the Marquis throws such dull affairs. It's hardly worth it. I assume you wish to discuss your petition to elevate these du paraquets to a minor lordship. Tell me, why should I allow you to pollute the Orlesian nobility any further than it's already been muddled?
Remembering that we are, in fact, from a noble family in the Free Marches. This seems reasonable enough, right?
The Duparaquets used to be noble. You'd be restoring an old house of Orlais.
Restoring it far too late. What are the Duparaquets now? Traders? Farmers? Really, it is too much. The very thought causes me pain. What can you possibly provide that will make your petition worth my effort?
I have to say, very much like in real life, the mask thing makes this sort of interaction very difficult. Especially just, again, like I said, because it's, like I was talking about last week or the week before at the Winter Palace, that there is a sort of barrier that it provides between people having a conversation. That barrier is, in this case, I'm not speaking with her. I'm speaking with her office, the mask of her office. We do this all the time in just sort of like code switching type scenarios, right? I have a very different stream voice than I use with my kids, or with my students in class, or with friends I'm hanging out with during the day, or if I'm talking about something else entirely, or anything like that. And so this is, or like, it's the customer service voice, that sort of thing. And in a case like this, it provides a very, very strong personal separation that makes real negotiations, especially honest negotiations, very difficult. Which is partially why I think Orlais winds up being so underhanded in their political dealings. So let's see.
Diplomatic connections that reach far beyond the boundaries of Valréaux, perhaps.
I might make use of your ambassador. The Montiliers aren't what they were, but at least they're from proper stock. Arrange for me to be introduced to the court of Antiver. I hear winter is most pleasant by their sea. Very well, Inquisitor. Should you fulfill this bargain, I shall raise the Duparaquets into lordship.
A very minor pleasure doing business with you, I suppose. All right. Magister Elixirs, we took care of him. All right. Let's I think let's finally finish up this line of quests. No, first let's go down to the stables and see about our Nuggalope. Shall we? We chat with Blackwell while we're down here.
Apologies,
Stop
but
following me.
is expecting
I haven't taken.
All right. Boo. Why not? I'm not going to be using Dracolisks. They're very creepy. Deeply creepy. Hearts, though, maybe. Okay. Yeah. Exotics. Yeah, here we go. Here's a bunch of nugs. The Greater Mounted Nuggalope, or Death Nug, makes a statement. And that statement is hands. Yeah, look at the Nug. Look at its hands. Its creepy little hands. It runs on knuckles. They're so weird. They're so weird. They're such bizarre creatures. I don't really have many Draculas, because as I said, they're very disturbing and very weird. Knuckled Thunder. Battle Nug. Have our harness trained for war somehow.
That'll do fine.
Oh my god, it's ears. Oh god, it's ears. I'm gonna stick with the Greater Nuggalope, I think. I had the Avar Warnug, but no. Undead horse with a sword through it. Kittles Majoris. Forever powerful, but forever branded by similar coloration to a Distorted Region's Lapnug. Tittles. I like Tittles. I'm going with Tittles. Tittles Majoris. I love it. It's awful, but I love it. This is ridiculous. Alright. Let's go, Blackwall.
Rey has claimed too many lives. I pray that it's over for good.
I want to hear more about you.
Compared to yours, my life will seem dull indeed.
Your name, Blackwall, doesn't sound Orlesian. Marcher, then. Ferelden.
I was from the Free Marchers originally. Markham. That was a long time ago. Another life.
Let's leave the past where it is. Your name, Blackwall, doesn't
Oops,
sound Orlesian.
my bad.
Marcher, then. Ferelden.
Oh wait, why did I leave
From the Free
conversation?
Marchers
Oh my
originally.
god.
Markham. That was a long time ago. Another life.
There we go.
I hear that many wardens were once criminals.
You're right. And when you join, your past is forgotten, so let's leave it that way.
Okay, okay.
Why did you join the Wardens?
Because they remember honor and sacrifice. Words that have little meaning to the rest of us. Because they lay down their lives for those they have sworn to protect. We all need to believe there are such men in the world. I needed to believe I could be one of them.
I really like that.
We can continue this
Now, I
discussion
know
some other
that-
time.
I know that there are, let's say, additional secrets to Blackwall's background. There are more dark secrets in his backstory, let's say. However, that part is, I think, if I
It
recall,
wasn't so bad today. The cook was in a jolly mood.
pretty
She didn't
entirely
shout
true.
at all, even when I dropped the ladle.
Pretty entirely true, and also beautiful and inspiring, really. Oh my gosh. There she woke up. Is not happy about being awake.
I must return to Valrayo to see that everything is in order. Please join me when you can.
Okay, back to Valrayo. Oh gosh, we keep going just back and forth here. I'm just gonna travel like this, shall I? Yeah, that'll be fine. I don't, you know what? I'm not gonna bother bringing anybody. We're just going to Valrayo. But yeah, anyway, it's, it speaks to an idea that I really like. I like to see. That you see a lot, really, among really ambitious people, where they notice something or they see something missing from the world that they would like to see, and instead of having to find someone else to make it a reality, they just do it themselves. It's what you also wind up seeing quite a bit in remove. Anyway, sorry about that. It's also the kind of thing that we see with respect to a lot of innovators, inventors, people like that, and even people like authors. The example that my mind goes to immediately, most notably, is Walt Disney, who wanted to, the reason he originally made and had the idea for Disneyland was because when he would go to amusement parks with his kids, they would be having fun, but he would be just sitting around watching, and it wouldn't be the kind of thing where they were experiencing things together. And so what he wanted was a place where parents and kids could go to have fun together. And so he made Randy Dowder. Oh, jeez. No, he made Disneyland with that in mind. And so instead of saying, "Oh, if only there were such a thing," he made such a thing. And so we see this with a different noble cause, with Blackwall, that he saw the heroism of people like Rey Wardens doing noble, bold, brave, and necessary things. And instead of saying that there are such noble people, he said there need to be such noble people. And I'm not only glad that there are such people, but that I can be one. He goes into the world and makes something of himself and does something that he thinks needs to be done, rather than just wishing for it to be done in a sort of passive way. I really like that. I think that's there's a lot about Blackwall's story that's beautiful in a lot of ways. It's even inspiring. That said, stay tuned, because there's parts of his story that are not exactly as inspiring, but we'll get there eventually.
I received a letter from the House of Repose, Your Worship. They acknowledge their contract is null and void. There is no longer a price on my life.
Awesome.
I'm glad you don't have to live your life looking over your shoulder anymore.
I regret we were forced to deal with them, that you were endangered by my part in the game. Did I ever mention I used to be a bard?
You were a singer?
Bards entertain the Orlesian court. They sing, play music, make charming conversation, and spy. Many young nobles put on a mask and practice playing the game in such a fashion.
What made you interested in becoming a bard?
Like Liliana.
I was attending a university in Valroyo when I learned about bards. There was such an air of romance about them. Stories of secrets, trysts, and fascinating people. A group of us, young gentry from Antiva, decided this exciting life was for us.
Mm-hmm.
How did you go from being a wandering singer to an ambassador?
In a very sad fashion. During one particular intrigue, I encountered a bard sent to kill my patron. We fought. Or perhaps scrapped is the better word. Both of us terrified. We were at the top of a steep flight of stairs. The other bard threw a knife, and I pushed him away from me. You can imagine the result.
You've drawn a clear enough picture.
But it was such a waste, Inquisitor. When I took off his mask, I knew him. We'd attended parties together. If I'd stopped to reason, if I'd used my voice instead of scuffling like a common thug, I'll always wonder who that young man would have grown into.
Reminds me of that line that from Two Towers, when the Haradrim soldier, Haradrim? Yeah, the Haradrim soldier falls in front of the hobbits, in front of Sam and Frodo. In the movie, the line's from Faramir. In the book, it's a version of it's from Sam. They say, I wonder who he was, this man, and I wonder if he was truly evil at heart, or if he was, or what lies and deceptions or false hope drove him here. Ending with that somber war will make corpses of us all. And that really, it's very poignant. That especially is a very poignant illustration, both in the book and in the film, because there's a dead body lying in front of him, and it's a young man. He's a boy, probably a teenager. He's going to war against Gondor for Sauron. In this case, no, it's the Haradrim, so it was Sauron. It was Sauron, not Saruman. But it's one of the most poignant lines in the Two Towers, which is full of just brilliant writing like that. The film, even, maybe even more so than the book. The Two Towers might be my least favorite book of the three, because it does drag quite a bit. Tolkien has a reputation for dragging environmental descriptions and such. Two Towers maybe most of all. But there was a lot of stuff that was fiddled with a little bit for the films that I think was done very, very well. Between that and Sam's speech right near the end in Osgiliath, why heroes go on, the old stories, the ones that really mattered, that whole thing, all of that, that as well. But the point with the dead Haradrim and Josephine's story here of the competing bard who died senselessly here, it puts a point on the tragedy of conflict. The tragedy of conflict in both cases is not even that people die, or we lose people in the process, or even that they die for noble purposes or noble goals. It's that the people who die are not the ones in conflict, aren't the ones responsible, and aren't the ones who will ultimately benefit from victory, except in the most grave cases of self-defense. Yes, fine. Your average Gondorian soldier defending Minas Tirith will benefit from driving away the armies of Mordor. And yes, fine, your average Inquisition soldier will benefit from closing the breach and preventing demons from swarming the world. Fine. Yes. But under most circumstances, a case like this, where you have one bard here, Josephine, who is protecting her patron, and she's a noble. She's a noble. She's highborn herself. It's not like she needs a patron. It's not like she needs someone to pay her way through and give her a place in the Orlesian nobility and all of the patron-client relationship type stuff that you would expect. No, it is purely for kids who think this is exciting. But then, in their pursuit of excitement and glory and stories and all of those things, they wind up losing their lives and taking each other's lives. And in a case like this, especially, it had nothing to do with them. They were friends, or at least acquaintances. But rather, it was over a squabble between nobles who decided not to settle it themselves. Pick a war. Any war. And you have, fundamentally, nobles, politicians, leaders, whatever, who have a dispute. And those leaders of any sort have decided that instead of settling the matter themselves, or at least directly, will instead either conscript or find volunteers of dozens, hundreds, thousands, or in the 20th century we had plenty of cases of millions of otherwise innocent young people throwing their lives away for this conflict between usually angry old men. This was brought up in Dave Smith's podcast, Part of the Problem, where he brings up, he brought up, and this was last week, I think. It was an episode or two ago, where he brings up the fact that our current conflict, not our current conflict, but the current conflict between Russia and Ukraine that the U.S. is meddling with, is misstated. Because it's not a conflict between Russia and Ukraine that the U.S. is meddling with. It's a conflict between Vladimir Putin, the people of Ukraine, and Joe Biden. And that when they were taking apart and looking at Joe Biden's speech from last week, when he announced sanctions and he announced not buying Russian oil, they pointed out something I think that's very profound. It's that Joe Biden is doing this to punish Putin, to make him suffer. As he stated this very plainly, very straightforwardly, very directly in the speech. The chances of Vladimir Putin suffering himself, him actually suffering, from sanctions imposed by the US is basically zero. He'll be fine. Joe Biden will be fine. Not going to suffer from this. He's probably going to profit from it, at least personally, he and his loved ones, and especially if there's a track record of his family profiting from Ukraine. In any case, though, it's not he who's going to suffer. It's ordinary people in Russia and ordinary people in the US, us, and them, who are also just realistically just us over there. And it's that powerful people like this, politically powerful people, will always necessarily fight each other by proxy. And so the proxies are the ones who get injured by it, not them. Now, if it were a matter of, let's take this example, Josephine and her bard friend, or other bard friend, who was sent to assassinate a rival noble. That's at least closer. Because one noble has a conflict with another. He finds this guy finds somebody to kill this guy, and that would get rid of the conflict. The only reason anyone else was involved at all is because this guy just wasn't very good at killing people. So he found somebody who was decent at it. And this guy happened to have a buddy, Josephine, who didn't want him killed for whatever reason. And so fought the guy that this guy sent. And so it became a little proxy affair, but it didn't need to be. It could have just been this guy either going up and stabbing this guy or sending somebody to stab this guy. It was that simple, really straightforward. And it can be. And again, I think that the more directly politicians fight one another without involving the populations that they control, or in a lot of cases tyrannize, the more directly that these conflicts occur, the more civilized it can possibly be. Fighting one another directly without trying to involve millions of other people. And let's be realistic, in our current case, that can perfectly well involve the annihilation of the human race, because these are two people who have their fingers hovering over big red buttons, so to speak. Almost certainly won't come to that, but, well, we can only hope and pray, but but it also just can be the fact that, no, it won't come to that, because that would involve them actually suffering. Probably won't. They don't want to do that. They don't want to suffer from this. They want to both profit from it, and they probably both will. It's the most disgusting element, the greatest tragedy of warfare, is that it's that old quote from MASH, I think it was. War isn't hell. Almost everyone in war is innocent, except for a few of the brass at the top. They're just getting everyone else around them killed. That's the tragedy, really. So. Let's see how Josephine moved on from this.
From bard to diplomat is quite a change in direction.
I was headed down that path for some time already. That night merely crystallized it. In all the commotion... forgive me, I don't believe I ever thanked you for helping me with this.
Hold on to it. Don't lose sight of why you came here.
I will never forget you helped save the House of Montilyet, Inquisitor. And should you ever visit Antiva, stories of the welcome we'll give you will be told for years.
All right. I might need to clip that little part there. I don't know. We'll see. If you think it's worth clipping, someone feel free to. Or let me know. And I will.
They're as calm as they can be.
Alright, let's see. What do we do next? No, that's main quest. We can find artifacts of the Rey Wardens on... Well, if we're going to the Storm Coast, that can be a thing we can do. Ker Aswan. Let's not do that yet. Kill Venatori. Just in general? Yeah, alright. There's probably some on the Storm Coast, so we can do that. Raid Sarnia Quarry. In Impuis du Lion. We haven't actually gone to Impuis du Lion at all. So maybe we'll do that. Maybe if we got time to do that a little bit tonight. Maybe we'll do that. We can go anytime we like. I also just love the name. The French pronunciation of Impuis du Lion. It's just fun to say. The Storm Coast. Rifts on the coast. Rift at the falls. Keeping the Darkspawn down. We'll probably actually do this as well. Yeah, let's just go and do Storm Coasty stuff, yeah?
Thanks to you lot.
Let us go to the Storm Coast. Memories of the Grey over there. Logging stand we must have missed. Shards. Rifts. An Astrarium. More Darkspawn. Let's do that first, shall we? Because it's right near the right near where we can come in. The quarry there. Driftwood margin. Yeah, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. Oh, we can't pick our team yet. We're gonna have to pick our team when we get there. We need Dorian. We need Blackwall, and we can bring somebody else. Varric, maybe? I don't know. Varric's always good to bring. Varric's always good to have with us. Always good to have with us. Just because he's just fun. This is a cool dude, you know? He's a cool dude. I'm in a cinnamon thing tonight, I guess. I've got a vanilla cinnamon coffee. I've got a maple whiskey, maple cinnamon whiskey sour. Which, again, both very good. I don't know why cinnamon. It's not very not very St. Patrick's Day, but I don't know, whatever. Whiskey is. It's Jameson. So there's at least that. Well, speaking of though, we had I tried two different things tonight that were or today. Two rather different St. Patrick's Day type stuff things. At work. Much earlier, let me figure this out first. Hold on. Confusion grenade. I already have confusion grenades. Maybe I should do bees. Nah, healing mist. That's useful. Cassandra, pitch grenade, that's useful. Rock armor. Sarah. Bees. And fusion. Dorian. Nah, let's not do that. Jeez. Dorian's with us, so we might as well. Blackwall. He needs rock armor. So. Cole. We'll get to Cole maybe. Vivienne. Solas. Very. Healing Mist. And let's give him. And even fire. Give him some fire damage. That'll work. Okay, cool. Cool. Alright. Seal up this darkspawn tunnel. Anyway.
Darkspawn above ground. Just what we needed. I watched someone nearly die from the blight. It's not something you forget. Only way out was for him to become a Grey Warden. Which means he's stuck fighting Darkspawn the rest of his life.
Yeah, that's not a great thing, really. That's a
Waking
Darkspawn.
sea. Somewhere across all that water is Kirkwall.
It's been a while since I was at sea. Traveling to Haven must have been quite the journey.
Between Cassandra's friendly company and Cullen's feelings on sea travel, it was great.
I don't see the Darkspawn. Where are they? Oh, they're over there. Okay. I suppose. Anyway, so yeah, let's go there. Let's take care of them. Those aren't Darkspawn either. Those are not Darkspawn. This is a guy with a shield who we killed. Alright. So that problem is solved. Didn't find the Darkspawn yet. I don't know where the heck they are. Anyway. Anyway. Where? Up here? What exactly was it? What was I talking about? I lost track because I was distracted by figuring out if these were Darkspawn or not. Also, where are they? Are they in that cave? Maybe they're in the cave. Hmm. Lost track a bit of what I was saying, what I was just talking about. It's just a shame. Sure, it was interesting. Yeah, let's check the cave, I suppose. No, this is a spider cave. These aren't Darkspawn. That's a spider. There we go. Deep stalkers. Oh, I need Dorian for this. Do the thing. Alright, we clogged up a tunnel. Nice. Moving right along. Moving right along. Alright, so let's see. Where to next? Yeah, more Darkspawn over there. So that's just down the coast. I hope this isn't where the giant is fighting the dragon. That'd be kind of a pain. It looks like it might be, though. Oh. Yeah. They're Darkspawn. I don't know why they weren't there earlier, but okay. Anyway. I don't exactly know what this sigil is. The Qun. Oh, is it? Oh, is this Qunari? Long ago, the Ashkari lived in a great city by the sea. Wealth and prosperity shone upon the sea like sunlight. And still its people grumbled in discomfort. The Ashkari walked the streets of his home and saw that all around him were signs of genius, triumphs of architecture, artistic masterpieces, the palaces of wealthy merchants, libraries and concert halls. But he also saw signs of misery, the poor, sick, lost, frightened, and the hopeless. When the Ashkari asked himself, how can one people be both wise and ignorant, great and ruined, triumphant and despairing? It's because secondary substances aren't real. He's reifying collections of things, that's how. Anyway, it's collectivist error. It's a common collectivist error. Anyway, moving on. So the Ashkari left the land of his birth, seeking out other cities and nations, looking for a people who had found wisdom enough to end hopelessness and despair. He wandered for many years through empires filled with palaces and gardens, but in every nation of the wise, the great, and the mighty, he found the forgotten, the abandoned, and the poor. The poor will always be with you, as we know. Finally, he came to a vast desert, a wasteland, a bare rock, clawing at the empty sky, where he took shelter in the shadow of a towering rock, and resolved to meditate until he found his answer or perished. Many days passed, until one night, as he gazed out from the shadow of the rocks, he saw the lifeless desert awaken. 100,000 locusts hatched from the barren ground, and as one they turned south, a single wave of moving earth. The Ashkari rose and followed in their wake, a path of devastation miles wide. The once verdant land turned to waste, and the Ashkari's eyes were opened. Existence is a choice. There is no chaos in the world, only complexity. Now, Erica, there's a thought bot. Kill it. Thank you. Good kill. Nice shot. Knowledge of the complex is wisdom. From wisdom of the world comes wisdom of the self. Mastery of the self is mastery of the world. Loss of the self is the source of suffering. Suffering is a choice, and we can refuse it. It is in our own proper power to create the world or destroy it. That is so much conflicting nonsense, but let me go through it line by line, because it's actually really interesting. And the Ashkari went forth to his people. Excerpt from the Qun, Canto 1. Okay, so. Existence is a choice. No, not really. Existence is not a choice. To remain in existence might be a choice. What to do with your existence, that is a choice. But existence per se is not. We are thrown into the world. This is the thing that the existentialists got very, very, very right. Our thrownness, as Heidegger puts it. This is agreed upon by all of the existentialists. They really emphasize this, the fact that we're here through no choice of our own, and that we have to accept that as a given. The givenness of the world and the givenness of our place within it. And then, from that point, do we have meaningful choices. But only from that point. Only if we acknowledge that thrownness. There is no chaos in the world, only complexity. Fair enough. Okay. That's providential, I suppose. But again, it's weird that the Qun is... It's weird that the Qun holds to something like that and is atheistic. But okay, fine, moving on. From the wisdom of the world comes wisdom of the self. Yes, you have to understand the world to understand your place in it. When you understand your place in it, it helps to understand yourself, or it might be necessary to understand yourself. I think that's true, and it's something that moderns tend to forget. So, okay, fair enough. We tend to think that we are self-made, that we have no... And this is just existentialism to too much of a degree, just sort of filtering down into our day-to-day popular level understanding. We have this tendency to think of ourselves as self-made entirely, that we define ourselves rather than being placed within a context, a proper social context, and a naturalistic context as well. Right? Human beings are a certain kind of thing. We try desperately to transcend that, but in trying to transcend it, if you don't understand what's around you to transcend, then you'll wind up just rejecting what's around you, and you'll wind up rejecting who and what you are, because you don't understand who and what you are, because you don't understand yourself within the proper context. Again, this is why natural law kind of reasoning, the kind of reasoning that was most prominent in the Scholastic period, really. This is why this kind of reasoning is so crucial, as well as I will say as well, a lot of Eastern thought hinges on this as well, especially Taoism. Much more so than other schools like Buddhism. They reject this sort of thing. Anyway, mastery of the self is mastery of the world. No, nonsense. That's utter nonsense. No, it's not. It's not at all. Mastery of the self is maybe a first step towards mastery of the world, but mastery of the world should never be a goal. There's no point pursuing mastery of the world. You're not gonna get there. Thinking that is a reasonable goal is hubris, for one, but then also just setting yourself up for utter failure. There's absolutely no way that you're going to master the world. You might master your place within it. You might master yourself, and so therefore be able to interact properly with the world. But interacting properly with the world and mastering it are two very different things. Okay, fair enough. Loss of the self is the source of suffering. Suffering is a choice, and we can refuse it. Okay, loss of the self is the source of suffering. Yeah, this fits very, very well with the very modernist existentialist kind of creed. That if I take loss of the self to mean something like our place in the world imposing itself upon us in what we take to be an unnatural sort of way, we feel that as modern people. Nonsensical, it's wrong, but it's the same reason why we might say that you're oppressed by. Common turn of phrase, oppressed by nature, oppressed by scarcity, oppressed by systems and structures and all that stuff, which is of course nonsensical. We find ourselves within these structures, and loss of the self is a very prideful, idiosyncratic way of thinking of that sort of thing. And then suffering is a choice, and we can refuse it. Okay, yes, but not in the context of what you just said. Refusing the loss of the self in a context like this is also silly and nonsensical. It's like if that is where suffering comes from, then the only way to refuse it is by rejecting or by stopping it at the source. Which, no, this is just directly in conflict with itself. It is in our power to create the world or destroy it. Who is our? Who is us? That's unbelievably vague here in a case like this, and that's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous to have a statement like that, because yes, fine, the creation of the world, at least the social world, yeah, that has a lot to do with the aggregate collection of individual choices. Sure, okay, I'm on board there. That's right. I mean, that's kind of obviously right, it's almost trivially. Or destroy it. Same. Likewise, we can disintegrate our own societies. But the problem with saying that we create the world or we destroy the world, yeah, that's true. But you in particular and I in particular have no agency with respect to that level of activity. I, in no way, am myself responsible for the creation or destruction of any significant part of the world. Same with you. It is only the random and or providential assortment and arrangement of the actions of countless people, independent of one another, or if not independent of one another, then at least what would be the term? Arranged spontaneously, let's say. It's the spontaneous order of multiple actors acting not intentionally in concert. But in concert nonetheless. That sort of thing is of course does the job. The dragon. That was the dragon out here, wasn't it? Let's not deal with that right now. Anyway.
The one with the extra armor must lead the attack.
There we go.
One less to worry.
Woof.
Everyone all right?
Well, this is your specialty, Mr. Grey Warden. Anyway. But yeah, this idea, like I said, that our individual actions have these effects on the world as such. Yeah, they totally do, but only in the aggregate. And the aggregate is outside of our control entirely. What I do has a profound impact on what everyone else does. The problem is that I don't coordinate that. My coordination of, not my coordination of, but my lack of coordination of everyone's actions means necessarily that even if we are working together through a kind of spontaneous order, through a kind of choosing to cooperate under relevant circumstances, that sort of thing is still going to be practically randomized, right? Not literally. What happened? It's not going to be literally random. Ah, crap. It's not going to be literally random, but it's going to be practically random. Right? It's going to involve the actions of so many different people in so many uncoordinated and different ways, or individually coordinated ways. Right? I coordinate my actions with you. I don't coordinate my actions with you, with whom I'm interacting. I don't coordinate my actions with you, and therefore all of the people that you interact with, and therefore and all the people that you interact with are coordinating with me and all of the people I'm interacting with. No, that is absolutely not how any of it works, and that can't be how it works. Wait, I didn't do either of these? Oh, I only did that one. Alright, let me see if I can go up on this cliff somehow. Find this one. Yeah. But this is where, sort of, broadly speaking, capitalistic spontaneous order happens. Where, by coordinating with each other on a one-to-one basis, on a voluntary basis in particular, that what we do is we express to one another our needs and our capabilities, such that I can provide for you and you can provide for me in a direct exchange or an indirect exchange. And this is what money and price signals and stuff like that do as well, is they provide signals. They let you know what I need, and they let me know what you need indirectly. They provide a form of mass level communication, so that our actions can be coordinated, that we can coordinate our actions on an individual level. The difference, though, the trouble is that that is not a direct, immediate, or conscious process. That this is that our actions forming elements of the world, that sort of thing, is not the kind of thing that is, direct and conscious, right? I'm gonna scooch up so we can see the pattern. When I coordinate my actions through this kind of, broadly speaking, let's say capitalistic process, it's not that. It's not that. Let's just experiment here a little bit. Crap. There we go. I think I got it. It's not that you or I are consciously and directly coordinating our actions with each other's. It's rather that our actions are, I can only say this in the passive voice, being coordinated. And the reason I can only really say it in the passive voice is that they're being coordinated by all of our decisions, and then further, I would say providentially. The providential part of that is controversial, of course. That involves the divine. And it basically means that the market is an aspect of divine providence. Which, wouldn't you know, it is a little bit controversial.
You know, Barrack, I went to Kirkwall once.
Yeah?
Bit of a shithole.
Yeah.
At least he can admit it. He's right. We spent a whole game there, but... Alright, let's go there, then there, then there. I think this is a little causeway that goes out to like a high dragon, so we'll not do that yet. Like I said, one of these days we will do just a whole stream, at least most of a stream, dragon hunting. Once we find the locations of most of the dragons, we'll just do like most of a stream that's just dedicated to hunting dragons. We'll bring Iron Bull because he just loved this crap. We'll bring Iron Bull, we'll bring Cassandra because she's kind of an expert on it. Doesn't mean she's actually quite effective at it. Honestly, the most effective squad member against dragons is definitely Blackwall, because he's such an amazing tank. But we're not going to bring him. Yeah, we'll bring those two, and then a mage, depending on the elemental type of the dragon. We'll switch those in. That'll be fun. Anyway. If it looks like we're actually going to go heading into dragon territory, we can head back, because I know there is a dragon up this way somewhere. Yeah. Dragonlings. Little drakes. Ooh. Wow. Dunzo. There's another one, but... Dragon blood. Nice.
One less to worry about.
There. Oh, there's more. Oh, that's it. Okay, moving on. Anyway, I always like the direction our discussions go when we start talking about the Qun, because the Qun is interestingly wrong. I mean, it's obviously heinous and horrific and evil and all of those things, but it's wrong and heinous and evil in an interesting way. They're a really well built villain group. Okay, let's see. Let's move that there. This one's complex. Okay, this one's real complicated. Okay, so I'm gonna have to think about this one. You gotta start here. I know that much, because you gotta do this. That's not right. I messed this up. Maybe? Okay. There. Nope. Screwed it up. This one's hard. Oh, jeez. So... Alright, that means I have to go here. I have to go there. Oh, did I get it? I might have messed this up. I'm not sure. I missed two. I missed these two. Crap. Alright, let's see. Let's try this again. I don't think I have to start here, because this is easy. If I start down here, maybe. And I go there. I do this. I do that. And I do this. Ooh, ooh. I'm missing one. Crap. Oh no, this is good. This is good news. So if I do this, all right, here. All right. No, we're good. I'm on a path. All right, here we go. This is a really hard one. This is definitely going into D&D. Oh, I can do this as a loop. That'll take me all the way around. Back to here. And that'll work, I think. Ready? Yes! Oh my god, that one's hard. That was really hard. Okay, that was a good one. Man, that's a good puzzle. Okay, that's a good puzzle. Woo! Marvenia. That is a good puzzle. A rift, a shard, an ocularum. Let's go check out that ocularum. and then the rift, then the shard, then let's get out of here. Get back out of here. Keep wandering around this nice, beautiful but rainy storm coast. This is right on the edge of the waking sea. This is where you right like Varric said, right across the seas. Kirkwall. Oh, there's that rift, which we can go take care of easy enough. Easy peasy. Landmark. Morin's Everlook. Pretty. Quite the place to live. A little bit isolated as far as getting things, but hey, maybe it's okay. Maybe it's alright. What did I just pick up? Didn't show me anything. That's weird, but alright, fine. Fine. Alright, let's check the Ocularum. The skull. Oh, what's that? Oh, there. Okay, there's another one. There's another one. That's it. Alright, cool. Now. That's it. There's a rift and a shard right down there. So we can go and take care of. Whee! Somehow we get over there. I don't know how to get down there safely. I mean, I know how to get down there. I don't know how to get down there safely. Okay, we gotta loop around. Alright, I see. I see. Alright, cool. I really hope we're not underleveled for this rift. Some of these are just shockingly overleveled for the areas that they're in. Are you kidding me? Okay. Corrupt. Mark of the Rift. That's all of them. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that focus ability is really handy. All right. Where's that shard? Right here. Okay, Dunzo. Something over there. Of interest. A couple of things of interest. Rey. A challenge, you ruddy bastard. You'd be laying at the bottom of the ocean if it weren't for me. That marlin would have spiked and dropped you. I saved your life, and this is how you repay me. That catch was ours. We both worked for it. You're not getting away with this. I'm getting the gold you owe me, even if I have to beat it out of you. Just so you don't run off like the little shit I know you are. I did your sister, that's right. So if you've got the stones, meet me by the old camp. We'll settle this. Speaking of, go ahead and, Erica, you want to kill that for me? Thank you so much. Death to the horrifyingly ugly thoughtbots that I have to assume are just as physically grotesque as they are spiritually grotesque. Just utterly disgusting. Unbelievably disgusting. Alright, let's grab that logging stand that we didn't get on the way before, for some reason. Forgot, I guess. Or we did, and it's just still marking it on the map as unclaimed, which would be really annoying, but we'll see. Maybe we just didn't see it. Or I didn't. Don't want to blame you guys. I'm not blaming the chat for me being inattentive. Well, that's why. That's why. You have to go around the back way. Still, my fault for being inattentive, but it's understandable at least. Man, now you see this. Now you see a little bit why this game is so long. It's not actually that long. It's just like we've spent nearly 2 hours doing Josephine's personal quest line, most of which was talking and role-playing type stuff, and then just kind of wandering around the Storm Coast, getting very little done. I say very little done. We've gotten a lot of side quests done. We've done a great deal of things, but advanced the story very, very little. We've advanced some side points, some side things, and some important stuff, but nothing like. No, we already did that. Astrarium, a rift, a shard. Let's not bother with those. Memories of the Grey. Another. Oh, that's the cave for the Astrariums or Astrarii. Keeping the Darkspawn down. Memories of the Grey. Another logging stand. Yeah, let's just go up this way. Wait, that's a massive cliff, isn't it? There's no way up there, is there? No, that's unwise. I should not do that. There's a lot more down here. There's a lot more down here. Darkspawn, rift. Let's do this. And we'll travel to here. What's this? Shard. I'll do the shards at some point, eventually. I'm not gonna drag you guys through that. That'd be hell. Like I said, that's the kind of thing for me to just do on my own. Because it's simple, straightforward. Why are there still... I don't want that marked on the map anymore. Okay, this way. The cliffs and mountain faces and things make this area a little bit difficult to navigate compared to some of the others that are relatively straightforward. A lot of the areas are, like I said, relatively straightforward, this being a notable exception, which is very windy, even though it seems rather open. It's just certainly not. Wait, where to? Yeah, okay. It's the one to the left. The one basically due east, not the one to the south. One to the south is much farther and much harder to access. This one seems like a straight shot, even though I'm sure it's ultimately not. Can I get up that? Or is that just a down slide? Oh, mountain climbing. Yeah. Slow going, but I'm doing it. Not that slow. I jump. Yeah, Sable, do your mountain climbing stuff. Oh yeah, speaking of Sable and mountain climbing. Funny story about our D&D game. One of our D&D games, one of the ones I run. Our Wednesday night Curse of Strahd one. So, Curse of Strahd is already quite slow and pondering. There's a lot of obstacles in the way that make exploration difficult. There are a lot of things that make it if you're gonna do it right, you should take it slow. That said, our group, Erica wishes we TPK'd.
Search about a bit.
Yeah, I can see why.
I think the Inquisition could benefit from this.
Warden treaties, wonderful. I can see why. Let's say, Astrarium, the cave is around here somewhere. I can see why we are going unbelievably slowly, mostly due to overthinking, overplanning, and overpreparing, which, all told, is not entirely a bad thing. It becomes a bad thing when it leads to a kind of paralysis. When the slow going becomes not moving at all. non-advancing. To the point where there's this dungeon. I'm not going to go into details about this because if you are or oh my gosh, excuse me. Anyway, as I was saying, if you are or if at any point plan to play Curse of Strahd, I don't want to spoil any important plot point type stuff. Did I just miss? Oh, come on. Just come back here, bear. Get over here, coward. Okay, problem solved. Anyway, but yeah, it's like I said, I don't want to spoil it. If you are ever planning on playing Curse of Strahd, it is a great D&D module. It's not my favorite for a few reasons I can maybe talk about. But in any case, even if it isn't my favorite, I still like it a great deal, and it's worth doing, especially if you're into sort of gothic horror and really dark fantasy type stuff.
I once met a dwarf who made the best homebrewed ale.
I once met a Grey Warden who got possessed by a spirit and then blew up a chantry and killed 100 people. What makes people think you want to hear what others of your kind have done anyway?
Okay. It's funny. That's true. That is a little bit racially motivated, I guess. Anyway, yeah. So like I was saying, it's spooters. Yep, spooters. Lost track of it. What in the world was I saying? Oh, right, yeah. The overthinking problem. So we were doing a great deal of... we're getting to a major dungeon in the module. It is the second largest dungeon in the module. It's not the castle. It's not actually like Strahd's castle. Which is its own significant thing. But no, this is separate. But also, it's pretty big, but it's not like unimaginably large. It's the kind of thing that a good dungeoneering party, somebody who knows their way around getting through a dungeon decently well, could probably do in two sessions, I would say, 3 or 4 hours each, something like that. Our group, who, like I said, overthinks and overplans everything. In no small part due to most of us being academics. We and you know this from me and how I talk on stream, if nothing else. All of us fall into this kind of category of academics who think and act very slowly and methodically. In any case, it's the problem of making sure that we're doing exactly the right thing at all times, and we have a absolutely thorough and complete understanding of every bit of the situation that we're in, and every bit of the environment that we find ourselves in, and all of that stuff, all cobbled together. The big issue is, for example, this week's session, last night's session was illustrative of this problem more than anything, where we found ourselves getting to the outside of this dungeon, we had about a 2 hours. We only played for about 2 hours, a little more than 2 hours. So the session was relatively short, shorter than I like. I prefer in terms of D&D. I like a good 3 or 4 hour session at least. I can do fine with something shorter than that, but I like for it to be at least 3 or 4 hours. So the short session didn't help matters, but we still, even in our 2 hours or so, just over 2 hours, we got through one room of this dungeon. We got through one room of the dungeon, peeked our heads into the next one, explored what is surrounding. We know what is in the next rooms, basically. The party knows what's in the next rooms, even if they haven't really done anything about it. Not yet. At this rate, if we have one session per week of about this length, and get about this much done each session, this dungeon alone could take a full year. Now, I don't realistically think it will take that long. I do think that we will pick up steam at some point, but I'm being really hopeful about that. I hope that at some point we manage to pick up steam. It's not that I have good reasons for thinking that. It's just that I in part because Erica is playing Sable as a rogue with Dungeon Delver feat, and is getting intensely frustrated by the slow pace of advancement. So there's at least a fair chance that that both in character and out of character, Erica/Sable is going to be pushing the party forward at a relatively breakneck pace, and quite possibly literally breaking necks or getting necks broken. I will say it was actually kind of hilarious that it was very close to a one-shot TPK, total party kill, because there was basically a trap that set off a chain lightning spell, which is a really high level, high damage spell. Oh, he'll just go on without everyone. Well, that's death, but it's also death for them, so TPK it is. Oh gosh. In any case, though, right? It's what's this? Warden Commander badge. Nice. Okay. In any case, though, as I was saying, it's this chain lightning went off and hit basically the whole party. But because Erica's playing a rogue and Sable has a bunch of rogue class features, most notably evasion and just evasion. Evasion's the only one that's needed for this to work like this. If a spell requires, or if an effect requires a dexterity save, a rogue with evasion, or anybody with evasion, this applies to monks as well, or the magic item Ring of Evasion. If you have evasion, you either take no damage on a successful dex save, or half damage on a failure. This was a lot of damage. We're level 8. This dealt, as I rolled it, dealt 50 damage, which was a little bit above average, but not extremely, for chain lightning. Given the circumstances, it was entirely possible, given the rolls, it was entirely possible for this to down, not necessarily kill, but down the entire party. That didn't happen. It didn't roll high. The damage wasn't quite high enough, and Sable would have been fine regardless, as Eric's character. So it was entirely possible, though, if damage had been just a little bit higher, for Sable to be the only survivor of a single spell effect that took out the entire rest of the party. Which, let's be fair, would have been really funny. It would have been pretty funny. Oh my god, another Thoughtbot. What is this? What is going on tonight? It's what, 4? At least we're getting a kill streak. Or Erica's getting a kill streak. There we go. Plug up the hole. Erica says, if I didn't have evasion and failed the save, I would have been at 8 hit points. Yes. I think Zook, who has the lowest hit points, did fail the save, and I think he was at like 2. So yeah, that was rough. That was really rough. I'll just fast travel to that eventually. Let's go up this river, shall we? Just straight up the river. Yeah, without evasion, that could have rolled much higher too. It was 10d8, I think. Might actually be a little bit higher than that. It was 10d8 or 12d8. So it either maxes out at 80 or maxes out at 96. I think it was 10d8, so I think it maxes out at 80. So if that had rolled higher, 50 is about average, it's a little over average. Average for 10d8 is 45. So if it had rolled higher, though, that very well could have wiped the party except for Sable. Because no one has 80 hit points. The closest is the Paladin, who had already taken some damage in the previous fight. In the actual room that we'd been fighting in. Where'd that other bear go? It's just running away? Just don't do that. Stop. Okay. Bear problem solved for now. Anyway, moving on. What's that? There. Anyway, so yeah, it's a bear. Oh my god, what's with the bears? Eric says, wouldn't have instantly killed anyone, but could have dropped everyone. Yeah, that's very true. It would not have instantly killed anybody. Because instant kill in 5th edition, you have to get to negative your hit point total. Which is way more damage than that. Like, way more. Okay, done. Okay, done. Oh my gosh. Moving on. There's that logging stand, so I'll just go over there and then explore from there. How about that? Anyway. Eric says, I can't wait to take no damage in the next room. The next room is should I say this? I mean, it's clear enough. There's a bunch of flame skulls. Which have some ranged attack spells But also, and this is a very low DC check, so I'm not really spoiling much, but if you really want nothing, I'm giving you an opportunity to mute or just take off your headphones or whatever. Ready, 3, 2, 1. They really like, Flameskulls really like fireballs. And Sable has both evasion, so it takes minimal, if any, damage from fireballs, and then also Mage Slayer. So if someone casts a spell within her melee threat, within 5 feet, she can opportunity attack whack them.
Sounds interesting.
It's not easy finding people willing to shoulder such a terrible responsibility.
Here I thought you poked around prisons, hunting for murderers, desperate to escape the noose.
That's what you think of wardens.
It's not such a terrible thing. Some of my best friends are murderers.
They are men and women atoning for what they've done by giving of themselves. They fight for people like you, people in silks and velvets, who talk and judge.
Who's judging now?
I know your kind.
Ooh. That's a good, that's a little bit of a good back and forth, but I also, again, this is a little bit more of that Blackwall backstory that we're starting to get a peek of. Getting a little bit of a peek at how Blackwall sees himself, perhaps. Atoning for what he has done. Ah, the spooters. A lot of spooters. Ow. Jeez. Okay.
It's over.
We got a friendly ghost spider. Anyway. So yeah, it was do your thing. Right, anything else in this little waterfall cavern? I know there is. There's a rift in here you can take care of. I remember there being more here than just the rift. I don't want to get into too much nonsense in here, but I know there is more to get into. At least I think there is. What's this? Huh. That looks like an exit only if I've ever seen one. Oh, it's one of those strengthen the veil mobobs. See if we can activate it. Yeah, we can. Yay, we can! Yeah, cool! Owie! There. They're gonna let me do this, aren't they? Pew, 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 pew. Alright, that's all. There's more, but... hate these things so much.
It's over.
Disrupt the bastards. That's not enough, is it? Is that enough?
It's over.
There we go. Anyway. My other game My other game, Saturday, which is not Curse of Strahd, so I don't have to worry about any kind of spoilers, is about to fight a cheese elemental. So that'll be fun. We ended last time on a nice little cliffhanger. Sorry about the waterfall. That's very loud. Lyrium falls, huh? Anyway, it's we ended off last session accidentally awakening a cheese elemental in a nice halfling tomb. There was a wonderful cheese wheel on a wonderful table. Oops, hey, stop. On a wonderful table, a wonderful cheese wheel on a wonderful table that was beautiful, looked absolutely delicious, under a cheese wheel, under a big old wheel of under a big cheese cloth, with a ritual knife. With a nice ritual knife that they returned to its proper place. After returning it to its proper place, unfortunately, they kind of goofed it a little bit. Failed a lore check to decipher the ancient script, telling them precisely the ritual. Erica says, "I don't want to die being burned to death by cheese."
Who decides
We'll see.
it takes this many keys to get inside?
There we go. What's this Veilfire here for, anyway? Very seldom do you find Veilfire that's not specifically useful for something, so I don't know if I'm missing something. Oh, okay. Erica says, like, oh, sorry, I misread that. You said, I can't wait to die being burned to death by cheese. I mean, okay, yeah, fair enough. That's a good way to go, I guess. Delicious way to go. Completely ridiculous way to go, but delicious nonetheless, I suppose. If you're gonna get killed by an elemental, a cheese one is not a bad option. What's with these spiders? It's another shard. It's over that way. Okay. Is that all? Is it just shards? More Hurlocks or ghouls? Yeah, Hurlocks. Dorian, stop dying. And stop using up all our healing potions. That too. Okay. Okay. Looks like we're done. We're done here. We're done here. Are we done here? We're done here. We're done here. Cool. In that case, I'm going to do this. Are we really? I feel like I missed some things, but in the Storm Coast. But whatever, it's fine.
Nothing to report, sir.
Alright. Logging stand over there. Let's take care of that. Anyway, they awakened a cheese golem. we left a cliffhanger of the cheese bubbling up, awake. Not a golem. Cheese elemental, bubbling up to waking from its long slumber, covered with its magical cheesecloth. Because they took the cheesecloth all the way off instead of lifting it partway and then slicing off a piece to eat. Oops. But yeah, that was great. Blame WizKid and Rally in equal parts. WizKid was the one who goofed it. Both of them are playing this game. I got the idea originally from a game that Rally, another semi-regular viewer, David, got that he used a similar monster, basically a cheese elemental, ages ago in a game that he was running. Come on, really? This is very irritating. And I got the idea from that, including the ritual and stuff like that. So it was good. It was fun. It should be a fun fight. It's relatively straightforward. Last time I ran a thing like this, I tried to give it really weird, like, non-Newtonian fluid properties. Like, if you deal a certain amount of damage to it, especially, like, bludgeoning damage, it would gain resistance, something like that, which... no, I'm gonna keep it a little more simple this time. With ordinary resistances and stuff like that. Erica is gonna kill a player character tomorrow. Nice. Oh, this is something we have to open up later. So, okay, we'll open that up later, I suppose. Alright, it looks like we've done basically everything there is to do at the moment on the Storm Coast. There is more here. There is ultimately more here. More Herlocks. Anyway.
What happened in Redcliffe had better not spread.
Oh? Why not?
You think mages will be better off if people know they can change the future?
Ignoring that that's not the case, I suspect people will use any excuse to hate us.
Then you should not give them more.
Did everyone act like this when the sword was invented? Oh, my blushing butt cheeks. Round up everyone who can use these pointy things and lock them away.
My blushing butt cheeks.
It is not the same thing, and you know it.
Oh, my blushing butt cheeks. You know those things, those things, especially like those phrases that he just like equal parts love and hate? Well, that's one of them. Blushing butt cheeks. Yeah, I absolutely love and hate that in equal measure. I don't know what to make that otherwise. Okay, so, ow, jeez. Am I okay? My headphones okay? I'm okay? Everyone can hear me? I can hear everything? Yeah, we're good. We're good. Just got caught on my chair leg. No, we're good. Okay. Sorry about that. Oof. Erica says, yeah, we get it, Dorian, you're gay. Yeah, he sure is. In every sense of the word. In the sense also that means cringe. Either of these major quests are going to take a while. Hinterlands. We can find alright, Venatori and artifacts in the Hinterlands. So let's go to the Hinterlands for now. Let's go make that one our main quest. Quest. World map. Hinterlands. Right here, huh? Well, let's wait for the map to load. There's a lot of stuff here. Oh, yeah, that's right. There's a lot of stuff here. Let's remember that lake. This is where we found Blackwall. Right around here. Yeah, that'll work. Members of the Grey. Then we'll do some Venatori hunting. And whatever else happens to pop up for the last 40 minutes or so in the hinterlands, because as the stereotype goes, the hinterlands is that one place where you go to that like tons and tons of side quests forever. It's quite crazy. Quite crazy. Also, I'm having an issue with this candle. Relatively cheap scented candles. Very nice. Very piney. The problem is that the flame is getting massive because the wick is doing that thing where it like bubbles up around the top. I'm debating whether to trim it after the stream is over.
Inquisitor.
I might. Requisitions. Yeah. Anti-venom. No. We don't need power so much as we need crafting materials, so we'll keep our materials otherwise. Okay. Up we go. I have to say that, I mean, despite the bad reputation it gets, I actually really do like... I like the level design of the hinterlands. And also the scenery. It's actually really nice. It's nicely designed. It's pretty. The exploration to it is actually quite good as well. I was complaining a little bit about the Storm Coast, how it's jagged, difficult to navigate. Here, this by contrast, the area is still like very complicated, but getting around is much more straightforward.
Could benefit from this.
So there isn't the same level of problems getting around from place to place. You can more or less go in a straight line. You might have to go around an obstacle or two, but it's relatively straightforward, which is very nice comparatively. It makes exploring the area not so bad, and it's part of why it's so tantalizing. Why it's so easy to just stay in the hinterlands forever. Just because there's so many side quests here, and it's actually a nice place to navigate. Unlike some of the later areas there are a lot of side quests, but it's hard to get around, either just due to incredible distances like the Hissing Wastes that we've been to, or by contrast, if it's just like the Storm Coast, just really hard to get around. Just because of obstacles and things like that. That said, I'm not exactly a game designer, so what do I know? I'm just basing this off of play experience. Pardon me. Basically, what it's like to play the game. What it's like to wander around and explore the areas, that sort of thing. Spirit in the lake. Oh. A moist tart threw a sword at us. Warlord Greatsword. Speed boost to attack speed when below 50% health. That's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Alright, I dig it. Lord Woolsey is around here. Actually, wait, while we're looking for Lord Woolsey, there's also a logging stand on the other side of the lake that we should go to. Lord Woolsey. I know that that Woolsey is just like a play on the word wool because it's a sheep, like a sheepgoat thing. But at the same time, I always hear Woolsey. I think of Woolsey, the NID guy from Stargate SG-1 and Atlantis. Good character. Really good character. Great arc. Very gradual arc. Over the course of like 3 or 4 seasons of 2 different shows. It's great. Really good. You told us right and proper, son. 3 times round the crown statue, right hand close enough to brush the stone itself, and the spirits will listen. That's weird. Everything else has been done. We slipped a silver to the chantry to save grandfather's body from the burning, and he's buried close by. 3 times around, always turning right. The spirits will bring him back to us. Now go and don't be afraid. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Not good at all. Necromancy, people. Nah. That ain't bringing Granddad back. That's sticking a demon in his body. Which, I mean, really is usually the danger of necromancy in the real world as well. Of contacting spirits, contacting the dead, that kind of thing. Because usually the danger of that is it's not that you're going to contact the dead and acquire knowledge that you ought not to have. While that is a possibility, albeit a remote one, the much greater possibility is that you will contact a demon. There's Lord Woolsey. Hey, Woolsey.
Wolseley, I presume. A young man named Jimmy would very much like you to return home. Ah, good.
Okay, he's going? Does he go by himself, or do we need to actually take him? No, we just need to go back and collect our reward, because he's going home. We need to inform him that please go home. Bring the grandfather back. Do it. Let's go. Let's go do bad idea thing. Let's go summon a demon, shall we? Place it into the corpse of this poor sop's grandfather. Alright, so that's the statue. Tear to bright X. Alright, so walk around it 3 times. 1, 2. Come on now. 3. Is that not good enough? Is that not close enough to the damn thing? I hate this quest. Maybe I just... Just a grace. Oh, right. That's a way through to a bunch of other stuff. That I don't want to do. I want to figure this out. Playing with fire. 3 times around the crown statue. Right hand close enough to brush the stone itself. And the spirits will listen. I just did that. How do I tell everyone to stay away? Let's... Oh, wait. Stay over there. Stay over there. Stay over there. Try this again now. Wait. You're not staying, are you? Move! Erica, can you look this up? It's called Playing with Fire. Am I doing something wrong? That is ridiculous. This is the statue, right? Yeah, it's got a crown. That's it. Walk around it 3 times. I walked around it like 8 times. What is this? Am I not close enough? Oh, there it is. Never mind, we're good. There it is. Found the demon. Ooh.
Goodbye!
Great. We summoned a demon into this poor guy's corpse, I guess. Corpse. Did the Astrariums. Not going to do that rift. Or the Druffalo. Because that rift is way over-leveled for this area, and that'll get me killed. No, that's the Druffalo thing. Locked door we can unlock over on the farm. Northern Hills for looters. Explore the cave for the Astrariums. Could do that. We got half an hour. There's this whole southern area we haven't even touched yet. But Ballad of Lord Woolsey. Let's do this one first. And then we'll leave. And then we'll go this way. See if that leads us over here. I don't know if it will. That'll be fine. Let's go to Redcliffe. Okay.
Well, let me know if you find one.
Returning Lord Woolsey.
The backpack will be joining up soon, Your Worship. Make your way around town.
Yeah.
Supplies.
Let's sell some things. Cool. Get out of the way. Alright, now let's go.
Good day.
May it be with you.
Good day.
Yeah, he's back. There he is. Look at that.
Woolsey came back. He says you convinced him. Here, for all your trouble.
Convinced him? Okay. It's not really weird or anything. Oh, Cole approves of me returning the sheep.
Good day.
Sheep, goat, ram thing. Alright. Cole's such a weirdo. I mean, he's a ghost, so of course he's a weirdo. Anyway.
We'll be joining up soon, Your Worship.
I do have to say, though, it's a little bit off-putting that the village of Redcliffe looks basically nothing like it did in Origins. Like, nothing at all. I know a few years have passed. That's fine. But it is so remarkably different than how it was. I don't know, I feel like they could have at least mimicked the topography. Maybe part of the topography or something like that. You know? I don't know. What's this now? A chest of things we don't really need. Like, we will never be wanting for gold, apparently. Really, that's just fine, but still. The Astrarium Cave. Gotta say, I do love those Astrarium puzzles. I don't yet know where I'm going to integrate one or more of them in our D&D game, but it'll be in the... I'm sure it'll be in the Saturday one, the one we're about to fight the cheese. When we're about to fight the cheese. It won't be in the cheese fight, like, obviously, but at some point I will be... I gotta integrate one or more of those Astrarium puzzles. Those are fantastic puzzles. They're really quite simple as well. They're not that complicated. Oh? Oh. Hello. Please. Hello. Oh my gosh, this isn't great. Hello? There we go. Causing some extreme glitchiness here. Is it in here? I've cleared this out before. This is where those rebel mages were. Apostate stronghold. Oh, yes. Yes, this is where it is. It's right there. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Yeah. This is some ancient to winter stuff, I'm sure. Snake blade. Cool. Yeah, nothing better than what I've got already. Alright, anywhere else we need to go? Let's try this. Let's see if we can get to here. Safeguards against looters. Finding, Hesley. Where he's hiding. Let's see. Let's see if this is a straight shot or not. If it's not, then... oh well. See what else we can do here in the hinterlands before we wrap up for the night. We're not going to finish, like I said, we're not going to finish everything in the hinterlands, like, obviously. Let's see. No, that doesn't go through. This goes the wrong way. On the other side of this ridge. It's up here? I don't know. Through here? Maybe. No, that's Redcliffe Road. That's not it. Maybe it's up above on top of this ridge is the way through there. I have to assume, otherwise, if this isn't right, then it's up that river. But if it's up that river, that provides its own set of problems. Primarily that it's past that rift that I don't want to deal with. Nah, it's up the river. Come on. I might have to call it a little early tonight if this lagging keeps up. I'm really sorry about this.
One less to worry about.
There. Varric, I keep forgetting, Varric really likes it when we beat up Red Templars. And, when we destroy Red Lyrium and all that, which is understandable. It kind of kind of ruined his good buddy Hawke and his entire town, his city. Yeah, let's go to the farm. Let's open up that door. Then we'll see where else we can go. Yeah, maybe explore over there then, southeast kind of area. That might work. Oops. Did not need to do that. There.
I've often wondered what the average man thinks about mage freedom.
If you really cared, you could ask. Oh, but wait. That would involve talking to dirty commoners like me.
True. So much for that.
Oh, God. Dorian. Alright, let's see, shall we? Whatever this is, let's do that. This is where we came in initially, so let's go check this out. Almost makes me think I should, oh, yeah. Bring our Nuggalope. Whee! It's so cute. Calenad's Foothold. I will never find that. Let's see, what else down here? Rift. There's a rift right about there. Whee! Look at his stupid little hands. I love nugs. So weird. Alright. That's enough. Easy rift right near the beginning. I keep forgetting that we kind of backtracked here. This is kind of the way you're supposed to go.
Templar bastards killed my husband and stole the ring from his finger. They deserve to die.
You're saying the Templars attacked your husband?
Aye. He was digging out a stump. The fools couldn't tell a shovel from a mage's staff. Had to be safe, they said. Rebels everywhere attacking by surprise, sick bastards. They took the ring I gave him on our wedding day in case it was magic.
Farewell.
See if I can do anything about that. I don't know. Excuse me. I'm not gonna just loot your backyard chest. I will loot this though, whatever this is. I didn't really need to do that. Let's see, what else we got? That. Apostate caches. Up there, huh? See it. There. Right near that, so let's just mark this, and then we'll go the
This must be one of
cache
the
is right next to
caches
it.
Recruit Whittle mentioned.
Alright. Onward we go. Will says, don't you just love it when you barge into a random person's home and just get tasked with slaughtering Templars and getting back a ring? Yeah. Yeah. You'd be surprised how many people need help with things when you just, talk to them. It's how I make my living. That and just rooting through crates. Erica says, yeah, well, if you come in invited, you might as well do chores while you're here.
Excuse me. Have you seen another Inquisition scout? Elven woman, answers to writs.
No, but...
You said your friend hasn't reported back.
Well, she was supposed to be checking on some apostates. I'm on duty here, or I'd go look for her.
Okay. We'll see what we can do.
I'll talk to you later.
But yeah, I especially love that sort of that little RPG element of just rooting through crates and doing quests by talking to people, especially barging into their homes, is just spot on lampshaded by Conrad Werner in the Mass Effect series. And I think it's in Mass Effect 2, when he really talks about it, when he really goes into like, yeah, this is how I make all my credits, is I'm always helping people when they need it. That and just rooting through crates. Like, yeah, that sounds about right. That's definitely how an RPG hero of the everything solves problems. Let me switch location bobs, map thingies. We can find this cache. There it is. That was surprisingly well hidden.
More supplies for Recruit Whittle.
Nice. All right. Okay. Last camp in the hinterlands. Now we have all of the locations.
Inquisitor.
Alright, what else around here? There's a thing right there. An exclamation point. The new quest. Yet another new quest. We have a potion for asthma. The on-duty scout, Ritz, who's off missing somewhere. Another rift. Another cache. Another rift. Another cache. Cave. The troubling dreams. He went to find peace. That sounds ominous. Oh, finding a key hidden there somewhere. And then the farmer's ring. Yeah. Will says as well, it's not the hero's fault. People just leave money lying around in crates and chests. Yeah, especially unlocked crates and chests. So that seems just irresponsible, really. Oh my god, another thought bot. Erica, you got this. You can kill the thing yet? I cannot believe there's another thought bot. That's 6.
See? The Inquisition found more food. Eat.
That's 6 in one night, in one stream. This is getting ridiculous. Letter from a dead Templar, Elendra. I don't know how this will reach you, but with the last strength of my shaking hands, what else could I do but write you? Whether it be the magic of this cursed breach or the Maker punishing me for abandoning my vows, the end is coming. The terrors are with me more often than not. Come up here to try to find some peace with these believers, but the platitudes they mouth are cold comfort. If my mind falls to demons or my own darkness, I fear that even a weakened Templar will cause too much harm. I took a draught of bitter herbs. It will be over soon. I wish my weakness had not stopped me from meeting you. With your phylactery I knew just where you were, but the madness of your side and mine was too great a gap. Maker save you. Stay safe. You need no circle if you carry it within you. Love, matron. Phylactery. Basically, it's a vial of blood used to track mages. Just in case they go apostate, basically. This is a weird cult. It's getting a little late. We have less than 10 minutes. Or we have... There's a lot going on here. You know what? Screw it. Let's do this now. Let's just do this the cult thing right now. We've got time to at least introduce this. Maybe we can come back for stuff later, but this is a good enough thing to do right now. Last 10 minutes or so. You know what? No. Now I'm remembering it. There's a lot more going on in this area than in this cult fortress. We'll come back to it. There is a great deal going on there. What was I looking for? Look for this key, huh? Yeah, there's a great deal going on there that we need to take our time exploring, I think. Like I said, there's a... like everyone knows, just from reputation, really, there's a ton that goes on in the hinterlands. So, excuse me? Excuse me?
One less to worry about.
Well, says, I remember Dragon Age fans really hated the hinterlands for some reason. Too many things to do or something. I feel like an MMO zone. It really, yes, actually, I think MMO zone is a really good way to describe it. It's really open. There's a lot of stuff going on. And, like, okay, let me go to the map. Let me zoom all the way out. First of all, it's huge. It's a massive area that is a very intricate and dense open world zone. It's a lot like an MMO zone because each of these little X's and each of these little tents and each of these little diamonds and each of these little things, all of these, every single one of them is a location or a quest. And I've already done a lot of them. I've already done tons of them, cleared a bunch of them. And it's the first major area that you go to. And so when you start, like here, actually, sorry, here, the actual goal of the area, you have one major story quest, and it's right here. Not there. It's right there. That's it. That is the distance between your starting point and your story goal. But in between and around, there are tons of little side quests that will draw your attention. Some of which will draw your attention to areas that are incredibly dangerous for low-level starting characters. And so you wind up just bouncing between these quests. Once in a while you find one that's just too difficult for you. It's too high level for you. Just guaranteed. And so you get bounced back and you go somewhere else. But then you start bouncing around the hinterlands, and there are people who will spend 20, 30 hours at the very beginning of the game just doing the hinterlands completely, and then you're over-leveled for everything else. Will says, yeah, you can actually get like 50 power just from doing stuff in the hinterlands alone. Yeah, something like that. It's crazy. It's insane. And it's purely because it's so navigable and also so dense. It's quest dense. The density of the quests in the hinterlands is, I think, the biggest problem with it. Which, honestly, like, realistically, that's not bad game design. There's nothing wrong with that. Under most circumstances, that's exactly what you would want in a semi-open world zone like this. You really would want there to be areas that are open but very dense, that aren't that big. Where unlike, say, the Hissing Wastes, which is another really big area with a lot of quests, the Hissing Wastes is like 5 or 6 times the size with about half the stuff to do or less. It's got a lot of stuff. but it's also huge and massively spread out. And it gets a little frustrating because of that, the distances that things are spread. Whereas here, it's just like you walk 10 feet and there's another quest marker. And what that ultimately inevitably winds up doing is, if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know not to stay here, then what winds up happening is you kind of get stuck in the hinterlands instead of moving on to the next quest area like you probably should. But yeah, it's that is quite frankly, I can see why it's a bit of a problem if you don't know what you're doing. And especially it being the first zone, the first real open world zone, it's very easy to get stuck doing or trying to do everything. Well, says true. Quest density is a little inconsistent between regions. I feel like Skyrim did a better job at distributing them around the different holds when compared to Dragon Age Inquisition. Yeah, I think so. I think that's largely right. Inquisition, there's a ton of quests in some areas. In some areas, it's just, here you go. Here's a big open desert. Real pretty. Hope you like fighting demons. Which, don't get me wrong, I love the Hissing Wastes. It's one of my favorite zones, but it's really sparse. Really sparse. Visually, it's one of my favorite zones, but it's really sparse. Probably only topped by maybe Puiste de Lyon. The white snow and red lyrium contrast stuff. It's just really cool. We actually haven't gone there yet in this playthrough. Maybe next week. Maybe. We'll see. Brother, I have fled the circle, but I want no part in this mad rebellion. The Templars and my brethren have gone mad, and their war has torn apart the very sky. Some of the other isolationists suggested fleeing, and I shall follow their example. It has been too long since I saw you, and it cannot be safe in Haven. If you can make it past the bandits and demons, join me at grandmother's old home, northwest of the crossroads. With your blade and my staff, we can get through this together. No, really not. Also, it's not safe at Haven. Haven was a disaster. We already know this. That was unfortunate. Alright, there's a rift. Let's do... Ow! Really? Is that an arrow? Let's do this. Really? Stop. Really? Oh, hello. Okay, fine. What in the world is happening here? I don't like this. Anyway. But yeah, I do think you're probably right. The quest density and the just stuff going on is pretty inconsistent in the Inquisition. That might be my sort of least favorite thing about Inquisition, is the sort of inconsistency of the design. There's a lot of stuff in here that's really, really cool. Really well designed, really immersive, and really interesting, but there's also some stuff that's just not really... that really could have used a lot more work. And honestly, a lot of it is... a lot of it's the war table stuff.
You aren't asking me to give odds on our beloved Inquisitor's success.
What would that look like? 3-1?
In her favor?
After Corypheus pulled an archdemon out of his arse, are you joking?
You would actually bet against me.
Now, if I weren't here, it'd be 5-1 at least.
We'll talk later.
Oh my god, Dorian. Will says, Puiste de Lyon and Emerald Graves were my favorites. Western Approach was cool as well. Yeah, I like Emerald Graves. I like the Emerald Graves. What's the Warzone one? What is the wars? The wars, the one with the one in the Dales, the war zone thing in the Dales. Let me level up before we wrap for tonight. I don't need to do that. That's dumb. Everyone stealths. Good for you. Good for everyone. I don't really need that. Lasts longer, can no longer be manually triggered early. No, that's dumb. Less damage when it expires, more if you don't need it. No, I'll forget. Oh wait, I don't have this one even equipped, so why would I upgrade it? Exalted Plains, yeah, that's it. That one's pretty cool. That one's pretty cool. I don't think it's my favorite though. It's cool. It's good, but honestly, weirdly, I kind of have to say all of the Orlesian areas are kind of just better. Armor penetration, huh? Yeah. Or sneaky stuff. I should be chasing passives, but parrying. Yeah, let's get this passive. Armor pen's nice. Sure. Yeah, just chasing passives in general is kind of the way to do it at this point. Alright. Let's go back to Skyhold, and then we'll wrap for the night. Next week we'll probably... I don't know. I'll have to decide next week whether we're actually going to be doing main story quest, because we do have... what is it? Into the Abyss? One where we deal with the Templars. Oh, this is my favorite tavern song, by the way. Once We Were. I love it. The one, not the Templars. When we deal with the Grey Wardens and their demons, their demon army. That. Excuse me. Excuse me some more. That is, but that's I think the big one. That's the next big plot quest. And I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided yet whether I want to keep moving, advancing the main plot, or wait, no, it's not. On the other hand, I still have a bunch of these companion quests and other side quests and things. I kind of want to do more companion quests. This is a major one. That one's simple. This one, the Quarry, that's in Inquisition, which means we have to get to and through Inquisition in order to get that. And that's a heck of a thing. So maybe we'll do those two. Maybe we'll do this one, Quarry, and then we'll do the Cassandra one. Maybe that'll work next week. I don't know. Either that or, yeah, Here Lies the Abyss. This one's a really big deal. It's probably going to take the entire night, whenever it is that we do it. The whole 3 hours or so. It's a big quest. It is a big quest. So for now, like I said, I'm just gonna mark. Not Frostback Basin. No. I'm gonna mark, I don't know, this one. For now. And we'll see next week. Maybe we'll do that one. Maybe we'll actually do the main quest. If you guys have any input on that, if anybody does, feel free to let me know. Just outside stream time or in the chat or in the chat on Monday. I'm actually planning on coming back and having a stream Monday. As otherwise usual, we're going to be back to Greedfall, and we might even be finishing Greedfall Monday. If so, what's this? Oh, that's interesting. What's this?
The Darkspawn have been driven back on the Storm Coast.
Let us pray they do not return.
Okay. We don't want to draw attention too soon. My agents will find a way to enter the stronghold without alerting the Templars. Small initial attacks secure the surrounding area. Now let's infiltrate. Let's not actually go here now, but this opens up a little new area. We'll go explore at some point. Our agents have acquired access to the Red Templars' foothold. On the Storm Coast, Templars feel themselves secure. It's time to prove them wrong. No, not now. We'll do that eventually. Like I said, we'll do it eventually. Anything in Orlais? No. If we do more side quests, we also have these Elven Ruins and the Elven Glyphs as well. We have both of those to handle before going to Inquisition, or at least parallel to going to Inquisition. We also have the Shards, that area, and then Here Lies the Abyss. Maybe, I don't know. It looks like we might actually just wind up doing more side quests. What is this? A deal for the weapons plants, huh? Okay. Talented, Metavian blacksmith. No one persuaded. Yeah, share knowledge. I forgot. We forgot to do this a while ago. I was unable to reach a compromise with Deventer. What? I suppose our influence does stretch only so far. He did, however, offer his apologies and made a gift of some rare materials. I would keep our negotiations open, but it does not look promising. Darn it. Josephine. Josephine. You're supposed to get things done. Anyway, that's all we got for now. And it is midnight. So, thank you all for joining me. I look forward to coming back to Greedfall on Monday. Finally, it has been too long since we've actually done a Greedfall stream, and by the look of things, we might actually finish the game Monday. No guarantees there. No guarantees there, unfortunately. We may not. If not, then it'll definitely be the week after. We are nearing the end game. So Greedfall will be wrapped up in the next couple of weeks, and then we've got to decide what we should move on to doing on Monday nights. On the list would be KOTOR 1 and or 2. Kingdom Come Deliverance is also on the list. I'm thinking about Mass Effect Andromeda. It might be time to come back to it. I don't know, though. I'm not 100% on that. I'm trying to think what else. If you have other suggestions, or just want me to make a post with, here are all the games in my Steam library that might be fun, then feel free to let me know at some point, either on the Discord or via Facebook or whatever. I'll be around. Otherwise, thank you all once again for joining me, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I hope to see you again Monday, and then right back here next week. Thanks, everyone. Good night.